Mandy from Mandy Plays, and in this video I'm going to do a worth to buy for Pikmin 3. Now I have a lot to say about this game. It's my first Pikmin game, so let's get into it. Now for the development side. Pikmin was developed by Nintendo and published by Nintendo. Now the deluxe version does have some minor differences that make it deluxe, I guess, but basically it's like the Wii U version. So let's get into the story of Pikmin 3. Now Pikmin 3 starts off with this kind of monologue of how this planet called Kopai. Okay. This planet called Kopai is kind of running out of food to feed their, people. So they send out a bunch of space people into space to hopefully colonize another planet and use it for food. And that's where we get our 3 characters. Now they're off on the SS Drake. That's their ship. And we have the captain, Alfie, Brittany, who's the food manager-ish. I don't know exactly what she does, but she manages a lot of food. And we got Charlie, who's the engineer. So they set off, but in the midst of all that space junk, I guess, the SS Drake crashes onto a planet later named ENF 404. Now, this is where the Pikmin come into place, because as soon as our 3 protagonists, split off because the ship crashed, we have these little Pikmins helping them. Now, I'm not exactly sure what Pikmin are or where they come from. There's a lot of lore there, and why do they help any ship that crashes is beyond me. But we do save their kind of mother thingy called the Onion, and I guess they're indebted to us from then on there. I mean, they're really, really cute, so, and they're really, really, really helpful. No qualms with that. But again, I do not know exactly what Pikmin are, where they come from, why they help, or whatever like that. So with the help of the Pikmin, they go and search for a piece of the SS Drake that they could go back home with and search for Omar. So that's basically the story, the gist of it. There's nothing really deep or anything like that. Now, I don't know if the first 2 games were like that because I never played them. Oh yeah, heads up, I'm not comparing 3 to 1 or 2 because I've never played them. So I'm just comparing 3 to just 3. And yeah, so that's pretty much the gist of the story. Now on to the gameplay. So Pikmin is actually classified under a real-time puzzle solver game. It's just so weird that I just couldn't categorize it, but it's categorized under a puzzler, which makes sense because you do solve a lot of puzzles to get from point A to point B. Now, most of the gameplay does revolve around using Pikmin and the unique abilities to help you further along the story. Now, there's the red Pikmin, which are kind of the run-of-the-mill Pikmin, but they do have a special ability, and that is resistant to fire. So that's pretty cool. Though they're the Pikmin that you get the most of, so they're kind of like foot soldiers, kind of. And then there's the rock Pikmin, which is one of my favorites, and they're big rocky boys, and you could throw them on glass stuff to break or crystals and stuff like that. And they're good for combat because they're big and heavy and they go smush to the enemy. They're very reliable, and I found myself using rock Pikmin all the time. Now, next is the yellow Pikmin, which is arguably the most versatile Pikmin because they could conduct electricity, they could be thrown farther than any Pikmin, and they could dig stuff out of the earth faster than any other Pikmin. So clearly the yellow Pikmin is the Chad of the group because he could do a lot. And then there is the flying Pikmin or the pink Pikmin. Now these are very, very weak, but the cool thing about them is that they fly. So they're pretty much just good at that, just flying and taking stuff from the air and transporting stuff a little bit more faster than foot soldier Pikmin because they can fly. But you shouldn't bring them to battle because they're weak and they could die easily. And then we have the blue Pikmin, the swimmers. These can actually swim and attack underwater, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they're good with attacks, but against like the other Pikmin, they're mostly circumstantial Pikmin. Like the pink Pikmin, but a little bit stronger, if you get what I mean. And yeah, the little mouth is a gill, and they have gills on their cheeks. Kind of creepy. Now there's a lot of Pikmin to choose from, and depending on where you are and how the layout is, you can kind of customize your Pikmin roster. Now they do come out of the onion, and as you gather more Pikmin, another piece of the onion gets added and it gets bigger, and then it turns into this weird colorful looking thingy. And yeah, that's basically where you pick up your Pikmin. So the onion is basically where you summon the Pikmin that you need, and it's always next to the SS Drake. So that's really handy. And also the SS Drake has a feature where you could call all your Pikmin back before nighttime, which is very handy because you don't want to leave them out at nighttime. You don't.
I mean, I knew it was nighttime, but I didn't think of it like stop mid-battle. And it looks like they all came back. Whoa!
Flashback. Okay, so this wouldn't be a strategy game without like some type of time constraint, and there is a time constraint, and that is the day and night cycle. You gotta keep track of that because you don't want to be out missing Pikmin, everyone's scattered, and it's nighttime because you will automatically go to the SS Drake. Even during like mid boss battle, you would just go straight to the SS Drake. There's no after hours or penalties for being out late. No, it just puts you back to the SS Drake. Now, the cool thing is, though, with boss battles and other stuff like that, you can resume it where you were. So, let's say it's nighttime, you're in a boss battle, you come back, the boss is still at the same health, everything looks the same, which is cool, in my opinion. So besides battling monsters, you do also have to gather food for your crew and all that stuff. So basically there's like these fruits scattered around on the planet, and with the help of the Pikmin, you can pick them up and take them back to SS Drake, where it condenses it to a smoothie looking thing. So it shouldn't be an issue. Finding food should be easy, especially as you go on. So you're only allowed 100 Pikmin on the floor. You gotta kind of strategize which ones you're gonna take out depending on the layout of the land and what puzzles you might need. And you can also go back to the onion and switch them out or reproduce. Now the onion is not just for housing the Pikmin, it's for like reproducing more Pikmin. So you basically feed it the carcasses of the enemy, these little pallets that they take. Now they could range from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So it's very easy to reproduce Pikmin, but in that same vein, it's very easy to let Pikmin die. So to gather more Pikmin, you need to kind of do a little bit math, because when you grab something, if the majority of the Pikmin are the same, then that thing turns into the Pikmin, even if it has like a red Pikmin with the 5 rock Pikmins, it's gonna be a seed for a rock Pikmin. So you gotta keep in mind that. So that should be it for the gameplay. Honestly, it was a breath of fresh air because I've honestly never played a game like that. Since it was my first Pikmin game, there was a lot of stuff I had to get used to, especially not killing my Pikmin. Do not look at that final score on that stream because everyone was shocked on how much Pikmin I lost. Also, if you want to see more gameplay of the game, I actually streamed it from beginning to end, so you could marathon those and watch me mess up a lot, but you could watch the gameplay and how it's played and stuff like that. Overall, I had a very positive experience, not gonna lie. It was kind of this calming game while also being really hectic at times. The only critiques I would give to this game is the length and more variety, because as soon as you get the three people together, it could kind of get same old, and I would have liked some kind of something to spice it up. And yeah, it was a really short game, but to be fair, it does have a lot of features that you could replay or play with friends, and they have a bingo mode. So there's a lot of features in the game. It's just the main story was a little too short for my liking. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is worth the buy, but ultimately it's up to you. I just gave you my reasons and stuff, but I thought it was a really good game, and I had a blast streaming it with you guys and just enjoying this cute little game that everyone's talking about. Now, let's get some Pikmin 4 in the house. Now I know the hype behind that, so let's go. Alright guys, so we've reached the end of the video. So if you like this video, please hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And if you like my channel and would love to see more, hit that subscribe button. You won't be disappointed, and I'll keep giving you some great content. Tell me what you guys think of Pikmin 3 in the comments down below. Have you played it? Are you on the fence? Have you played the first two and just don't like 3? Let me know all that in the comments down below. With that being said, you can follow me on Twitter. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.